economic manner. As compared with Israel, we are considered to be prodigal in the waste of our resources. In the dry area, therefore, we must have a nationwide program for conservation and utilization in an optimum manner of the scarce water resources in these dry land areas. There are some examples of the manner in which these limited water resources in dry areas have been put to maximum advantage. I can cite the example of the village Raleganj Siddhi, which has come to be known all over the country today. This village is in a rain shadow area of Maharashtra with only 12 inches of rain. And yet, thanks to the collective contributions of the villagers to the conservation of the scanty water resources, and I have gone to this village and I have seen it with my own eyes, thanks to this economic management of the scanty water resources, this goes to the Middle East. Now this is an example of how we have to multiply this economic use of water resources. In the irrigated areas, we have to see that there is no gap between the creation of potential and the utilization of potential. That canals and water courses are kept in order. That there is no loss due to seepages. That the farmlands are not flooded, leading not only to the waste of resources, but also breakthroughs. Here, this new science of biotechnology can be a great source of hope. I am glad that the new Department of Biotechnology has been brought into existence in the Agricultural University in Bangalore. Biotechnology and tissue culture can be the beginning of a new agricultural revolution in this country. And we should be prepared to make the best possible use of this new agricultural science. Similarly, the world of tomorrow can lead to better crop planning all over the country. Today we do not have crop planning. We do not have planning of crops in such a manner as to make optimum use of water resources. Sugarcane is a crop in Maharashtra. Without crop planning, with the use of information technology, without new technological breakthroughs through this new science of biotechnology, it would not be possible for us to come up to the new challenges that I have mentioned. Now, have we come up with a comprehensive strategy for developing sustainable agriculture based on dynamic growth in agricultural production? Dynamic and diversified. Do we have any such policy? Do we have such a strategy? This is a question that we should ask. For the last 4 or 5 years, what is the place for sustainable agriculture in the world of this policy of liberalization and globalization? We have thought of new agricultural policies as well. But the center, having talked for years of the new agricultural policy, has not yet brought into existence, and therefore it is left probably to the new government to chalk out the new agricultural policy. There is a new agricultural policy statement brought out by the state government. Now, do these new policy initiatives in agriculture provide for... Now, this new agriculture that is taking shape would require the institutional, organizational and financial support that we have provided to agriculture in the past. The new policies talk of making agriculture into an industry. This seems to be the focal point. Now, what do we mean by this? That the credit will come into existence. Who will fill up this gap? Of course, the cooperatives. But if cooperatives become non-viable, if there are overdues, if there are write-offs, then what is it that we are going to depend on for the supply of credit to agriculture? Similarly, the need for inputs will go on increasing. Do we have a right input policy? Take for example the fertilizer. Because of doing away with subsidies for phosphoric and potash fertilizers, today their production in this country, their use in this country has gone down alarmingly. And the Nobel Prize winner Bourdieu has pointed out that if this happens, it will make a lasting damage to the productivity of the soil and to productivity of agriculture. They are there, and the storage and marketing and processing needed for export are also available. The new policy gives importance to agricultural exports. Yes, agriculture should take advantage of this globalization. But is the necessary infrastructure available? We do not have air-conditioned storage facilities there, but the patent will be an American patent. 70% of patents taken in India are taken by foreigners. Is it not necessary that our agricultural universities provide a strategy by which bulk of these patents will be Indian patents, so that the fruits of science and technology remain within this country? Therefore, I would say that in the era of liberalization, agriculture must continue to progress with the help of science and technology, even at an accelerated pace. But this agricultural development should be of a sustainable nature, of an equitable nature, with the participation of millions of small and marginal farmers, and not at their cost. We are entering into a new century, into a new millennium, and we are looking with hope. There are many people who say that the 21st century will be the Indian century, that India will be one of the greatest economic powers in the world. And India does have the assets to make this possible. Our assets are our intellectual resources, our people and their education and their skills, our biodiversity, which is unsurpassed anywhere in the world, and our rich cultural heritage. With these great resources available to our younger generation, can we not hope that they will be the architects of the destiny of India, and they will make India an exciting country to live in the 21st century? I look to the younger generation with great hope. I wish them great luck, and I wish that they succeed in creating an India of our dreams. Thank you very much.
ಈಗ ಕುಲಾಧಿಪತಿಗಳು ಈ ಘಟಿಕೋತ್ಸವವನ್ನು ಮುಕ್ತಾಯಗೊಳಿಸುವ ಆದೇಶ ನೀಡುವರು.
I dissolve the convocation.
ಪ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲ
This is, I know.
I am giving convocation. Well, he is to say that I go on with food. Am I a donkey or a camel?